so on the IS300, I'm changing the rear bushings for the rear diff. Well, on the actual rear end, let me get you turned around here. The way the rear is, it's got these bushings in it. Well, I thought, let me get you closer here. It's an awkward angle. That's where we need to be looking. Alright, so if you can see this piece here, this is the bushing on the end of it. There's a lip, so if you try to press it out, it just pushes the middle piece out. It didn't actually push the whole setup out. Well, this big lip right here, and it's got these little notches, these cutouts around this whole piece, and you end up having to hit it right there. You can see there's a lip right here. You end up having to hit it right there. So what I did is I took a screwdriver, or at least some kind of tool, you know, and I just hit it, which it's already come out, but I'm gonna knock it down that way. So what you actually have is where that was in, that's what was sticking up on the diff, and so that lip, I had to end up hitting that lip and knocking it down out of there. You couldn't actually get to it to press it. So if you press it, you'll probably just push the center out of this rear piece. So for the guys that's not done this and you're changing your rear bushings, if you press it, all you'll press out is the center of the actual bushing, and you have to actually take something around the edge and knock that down out of there. So that's that piece. Okay, so on the rear pieces, the actual, where the bushings go here, this was where the other one was, but this one is actually, I can't remember on the 350Zs, I think it actually comes this way. These, so all it took was a hammer, and all I'm doing is kind of just breaking it free from the edge. Seems to be harder to get out. Where it's been in there so long, it's actually kind of dried up to the side there. I wish I took this axle out, but so I'm trying to get it to come loose from the edge here where it's kind of been on there forever. And it should go back out to, that's how you get those out. You kind of go around the edge and kind of knock it in towards the hole. You'll see a seam right there. Try not to hit that lip, but where it's set in there forever and it's kind of like made itself to that from where the debris and just oxidization and stuff. So you just have to kind of knock that lip back a little bit to get you some slack on this side and beat it back towards the trunk or whatever. So that's pretty much how you get the back ones off. Alright, so we got the brakes finished up. I put the axle back in the driver's side, put the axle nut, got it all tightened back up on this side. Now, the next part of this deal is I'm going to get some light on the subject. We're going to be running the steel braided brake lines for the dual calipers. Well, after further investigation, it's got these little places that are bendable here and here, and then I can use the old hangers that come off of the rear section of the e-brake. They actually like go around it and clamp and have a bolt in it, and so I can actually use those So I won't have to come up with any kind of fabricating clamps, maybe some kind of rubber bushing to wrap around it, but all you gotta do is go on the inside of the car, unbolt that, drop that, and then come from underneath and push my brake line in, and then bring the back T part out and run it to where it lives. And I think this will be pretty straightforward as far as running the line. So, all right, let's get started on that. Got to let the car down, get the e-brake out, the factory e-brake, and see what we come up with. All right, here we go. All right, so we're inside the car now, and we're going to finish pulling the actual factory e-brake handle out, and that way you can see kind of where we're going with this whole ordeal. Tell kind of what it's going to look like once we get to this point. Alright, so the line continues on up here, and so we're going to go ahead and pull this out. And we're going to reuse this hole. So we're not actually going to have to drill anywhere or run it crazy. We actually can use exactly the existing parts to it, because we're not going to use this factory e-brake. You can see how it goes to the passenger side. Well, our e-brake handle, I'll show you kind of where it's going to live once we get to that point. So that let's see if I can bend this little, it's got a little tab right here that you have to bend. Don't have anything here. I'm gonna have to go dig something up to bend this thing. Well, we'll deal with it in a minute, but okay, now that this is out of the way, the new e-brake will actually live somewhere right in here. So if you can see that in the camera, let me try to get you turn this away. So this is where the new e-brake handle will live, roughly. So I still got to fit it in here, and the bracket actually sits on this piece around the shifter. So you unbolt all this, set your plate down, rebolt it back, and it has a piece of metal comes out the side, and as that metal comes out, you actually bolt this to it. But you want to angle it so you don't hit your hand trying to grab it and all that. And plus it will help be in line with the clutch line here, getting it back into the car. So alright, let me find something to bend this tab out, and then we'll go back underneath the car and start running the line from underneath. This is pretty much going to be the brake line install. For some reason though, I feel like this is going to be too short. I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken here, but alright, so it's actually going to fit loose in here. I'm just going to kind of mock it up, so I am going to go back and unbolt these and put some kind of boot on it. I swear though, I don't think it's going to be long enough. I think I'm going to have to add some, maybe some plumbing in or something. I just don't think this thing's going to be quite long enough. Maybe, we might get lucky. It may be. And like I say, it was ordered specifically for this car. When you order this kit, it says this car on it. On this particular kit. And it don't run anywhere but to the brake right there. And it seemed like it's a little short already going this way. Now we're going to be on this side, and we have to go over. I just got to kind of wedge it right there. Maybe when it pulls up tight, possibly. we can see once we get there, but gotta have faith, I guess. This is the one I need. Should have brought my little cart over here. That's a handy little deal. Get you a little cart and bring it with you and kind of lay your tools on it. I use that thing quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Alright, so yeah, that'll work right there actually. That'll be, I have to go up some. You gotta keep in mind we still got the drive shaft to install and everything too, so but this thing will actually go in the existing hangers, and this will be above the drive shaft. Alright, it's gonna, oh, that'll be long enough, I think. Let's go this way. Nope. What about that? Alright, so that'll let it sit there. So I have to make it a point to get above everything back here, because it will take about 2 seconds for it to get hung in the drive shaft right here. Yeah. Depends on, can't remember 100%. I think the drive shaft actually sits quite a bit up this way. May have to go above something right here if we can. We'll figure this out another, but this has that's where it goes. Yeah, it's got 2 hangers. So this hanger, it's actually, I missed one, I guess. So that'll go, yeah, that way. So that gives us 2 to get that up off of the rear end where it's going to live, the differential. So that'll live there. Let me get the last one. What we will have to do though is get some kind of hanger up there closer to the front to add in. But here, I think we're good. I mean, I think this will be, and again, I'm gonna end up putting probably, well, maybe, there we go. So, that will get us, it's going to be questionable. We'll just have to see how it turns out, but that's going to be, it ain't long enough. I didn't think it was. On the ends, it's not going to be long enough. We're going to have to add in something, some kind of brake line or something at the very ends. I'll have to figure that out, but that's okay. So what we end up doing will be go into the factory e-brake location. So we'll go in here and I'll get some rubber grommets and wrap it or something, and maybe get a little bracket or something here. And there's a couple of things that's going to have to be pulled up tight, but it can ride on top of the carrier bearing. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be fine lengthwise that way. Once we set the bracket, plumb it in, we may have some slack to come back, but it won't be enough to go sideways one way or the other. I may just have to pull it. If it's too short on both sides, what I may do is pull it to one side more and just hook it in with what I have. And that way the other side I can just only have to tie in one side with something, you know, so I'm saying, so that way I'm not having to put something on each side, make two different fittings or whatever, maybe. But that's what I got. I didn't think it was long enough. I was wondering about that, so, ow. So, worst case, I can change the way it routed. I don't know that it'll save much room, but we'll see. All right, time to go on top of the car and kind of assess the length up there of what it's going to look like. All right, so we've made it into the car with the plumbing, and it appears that it'll fit. It'll actually go pretty good inside the car, I believe. What the problem will just be the back where it actually plumbs into the actual calipers themselves. I think we're going to run short there. I can pull, I think I'll have a little slack to pull it towards the back, but I don't have enough once it hits that T and goes to both wheels. There's not enough length on both sides to go to each wheel. So I'm just going to figure out something there. I like the way it ended up running, like through the brackets and stuff, but I think running in that way will make it too short. What I may do is try to hook them both up and then just see where I end up having to hook it, I guess. Maybe it might mount to the rear diff or something once it goes in. There may be something that bolts there. But as you can see here, there is plenty of actual length, you know, so we can go up here. And plus it's got the banjo fitting on it, so I can actually lay it sideways, you know. So we still don't have the bracket. So I guess I'm almost done for today. Guess what I'll do is just when I come back tomorrow, we'll be working on a rental possibly tomorrow. So that's why I try to work on what I can while I can. And that's why we kind of jump around on different videos. I may not work on this car for 2 more days depending on what the rentals do. But the goal is, the next video, or continue on with this one, is to tie in the back, and then we're waiting on that plate. Or at least see them, you know, if I can tie in the back. If I can't, then that might take a day or so to get it worked out. But in the meantime, without the plate, if I get that knocked out in the rear part, I still got the steering wheel to put on, so that'll be a video we'll shoot it, kind of putting the steering wheel and that and the quick release and stuff on too. And then once we get the quick release changed out, the e-brake stuff tied in, that leaves the rear diff, and all I'm waiting on is the bushings on it. Once I get the bushings, it won't take very long to put it in. Then we'll be ready to put the car back together, and it'll be ready to hit the street. So it's not a ton left, but they're still, you know, mocking up the rear. I don't know what it'll take, but we're getting there. It takes time. See, and this is the thing you run into when you're working on cars. You don't, especially if you hadn't ever done it before, and you don't have somebody with you that has done it and saying, hey, this works, this doesn't. And either you end up on your phone all day surfing the internet trying to find answers, which is what I did when it come to installing the dual caliper setup. I searched everywhere and I couldn't find anything. Maybe I typed in something wrong. I went through YouTube. I could not find anything, so that's why I have so much footage of that. You know, maybe that'll help somebody down the road, but I couldn't find anything, so I wasted half a day to most of a day just trying to source an idea of how it goes on. But finally I jumped into that one and just went with it, and that's what I ended up coming up with, so that's why I ran it that way. There's probably a better way. I'm sure there is. Somebody can do it better than me. I have no doubt. But that's how I've done it, and that's how it works for me. So we'll continue on, and hopefully we can get the rest of it put in pretty soon. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit the little bell. That'll give you a heads up that we're posting another video. And we're on Instagram. We added Chesser Drifting. If you haven't added that yet, check us out there. And if you need to email us about anything, chesserenterprises@yahoo.com. And we're on Facebook, Chesser Motorsports, Chesser Enterprises. Just search us, you'll find us. And like, subscribe, comment on the videos. Hey, we appreciate, you guys letting us know that you are watching. We appreciate everything everybody's doing for us. Thank you guys, we appreciate it, and hope the videos actually help. I hope that there's somebody somewhere that's putting a car together watching my videos thinking, man, I'm glad I found this video. Alright, thanks guys.